Hi. Alright, we're back. And it's night 2. It's night 2. Night 2. And I watched my video back, and honestly, you could hear all the sounds. Some of them are a little loud. Sorry about the crinkly sound. It's not gonna happen again, I promise. Sorry I was rambling. I actually figured out a little more cleanly what I wanted to say yesterday. And also, a lot of the triggers that I used were really good, so we're actually probably just going to explore those again today. I threw out the Domino's box, obviously, but there's plenty of other boxes around here. Let's just do some sounds because I like them. Oh, this one was actually good. See? Whoa, whoa, whoa. This one's going to be a good one. I actually liked this one. Oh, I don't have nails anymore. I liked this one, okay? I liked this one. Okay. I think we messed around with that one now. I did like this little cover thing. This little, like, it's got a nice sound. But yeah, I really liked the visual aspect, because this is fun. Okay. Oh, and I said it was horrible, but actually it's not. It's totally not. I actually really liked it. Anyway, I want to explain more about my roots of existence, because I talked about them yesterday, and I feel like I didn't really, explain it super well. I split some things up, changed names, moved ordering around. Honestly, because I went to go comment on someone's thread post, and I wanted to tell them the story, because they were asking for weird stories. So I was like, yeah, I'll just talk about my roots of existence or whatever. It's deep enough, I suppose. And the story that I told wasn't the story that I had down on paper, weirdly enough. I realized I had a different story in my head that made more sense than what I was writing about. So, I want to talk about that. Sorry, it's just a lot of words. A lot of words, and I've explained it a number of times today. Maybe I'll just read something instead of try to explain it to you. Because I said it a bunch. Oh no, I'm recording on my phone. Here, let's try my friend's slippers. I think this might be good. I like it. I like it. I like it. Oh, yes, yes. Okay. Now I'll explain. So, in the beginning, everyone thinks that there was nothingness. And the big concept right now that all the missionaries spread across the world is that God just made stuff. From nothingness, he just said, let there be stuff, and it happened. Well, let's just skip over all that for now. Let's just look at the very core of the story. Our story. We actually have words for everything. And the words tell us the layering of the story, the order that they came into being. I've been studying all these from across all the cultures and stuff, all the religions, even listening to the complaints online that we make. We complain about stuff, and then at the same time when we complain, we wish for something good. Why can't people just be kind? Why can't money just be free? Like, why do we have to be part of that system? Like, people are always wishing to not suffer. And in the wishes for not suffering is goodness. That's where morality comes from. We don't want to suffer anymore. And so every step that we take away from suffering is good. Goodness. Things that we consider to be good. Every step that you take towards suffering is, I guess, badness. Or just suffering. Just call it suffering. More suffering. And that's bad morality. We don't need God for morality. We just need to suffer. Anyway, everyone says it's nothing, but since we're here and we're talking about stuff, it couldn't have been nothing, right? Because we're here. Nothingness would be impossibility. Nothingness would be nothing. It just wouldn't be anything. How could it be something if it was nothing? So let's say instead of nothingness, it was possibility. Possibility had to be before anything had to be, because it has to be possible to be. So let's put possibility at the very start of all things. So possibility opens up, and right alongside possibility, chance. Chance is right there next to it at the very beginning. Chance for all things. Probability. Chaos. whatever you want to call it. Possibility and chance, right at the very start. They wiggle their way into existence, into being, and in their wiggling, space is made. Space for all things to be. We know the space, the outer space. Space that holds our planets and our stars and our whole universe is the space. What is the space made of? What are the walls made of space? What's the very fabric of space made of? The wishy-washy, I don't know, no. The material, what is the material of space? It's elements. Particles and elements. The elements are material. They just are. When space forms because of possibility and chance for things to be, space is already made of elements. It doesn't have to be created, it just already is. Well, in the elements, we find duality. Duality is the next thing on the list. Possibility and chance, the elements, duality. All the elements work along polarity and opposition, positive and negative, and different types of each other. This creates the tension of the universe, the texture, the directional, and also the ebb and flow, the push and pull. And in the push and pull, along the whole thing, time has been flowing. And as time flows and the push and pull of the elements within the space happen, change occurs. And as change occurs and time continues to flow and chance sparks new things, possibility makes it all happen, patterns begin to emerge. And in the stability of pattern, the elements will create things. They'll start creating things. Elements decay and they create new things just by bunching into each other and doing that whole dance, the duality. Time and change will change them, and they will destroy and create and decay and reborn again, rebirth again. I don't know what the word is, but you know, it's so much better when I'm actually typing, because I can just be like, I can just pause. I don't know if you guys are sick of that trigger, but we're gonna move on to the controller because I actually really liked this one too. Where are we? Yeah, so creation and destruction happens after pattern emerges. The pattern allows for things to coalesce through sequence. There's a sequence to everything. So we need pattern before creation and destruction. You might be thinking that these things we create and destroy and over, and they create the patterns. And yes, they do. But there's a sequence to things, and pattern has to come before that. And so in the pattern of things, things are created and destroyed. And in creation and through sequence, stars are made. And that brings about light. Light is the first motion of setting the stage so that life can perceive itself. Light brings life. The warmth of stars and chance and pattern, all of those things working together, through the chance of all of it, life emerges. I know I'm skipping around a little bit, guys, but I hope you're following, because this is a threading of every culture and every religion, and just feeling. When you think these words, when you feel these words, they have a sequence, they have an ordering. Anyway, through the chance of it all, life emerges. Life emerges out of time, chance, pattern, creation, destruction, element within the space, along the shape of the fractal. I know I didn't mention that one, but I might as well say it. We can talk about it afterwards. It's just the shape of reality. Everything that comes into being, everything that happens after we live, and all the actions that we take and all the thoughts that we have, the shape of them. See a tree, see my hand, see my veins, see my brain. Everything is in the shape of a fractal. That's just the shape of reality. It's not really something to be understood or talked about too much, besides the fact that you can just see it in everything. And it does help you understand diversity and how evolution comes about, because the fractal being the shape of reality, life comes into play. Diverse. It's already fractaling. The light hits it and splits. And we are the refractions of light, the rainbow that it creates. And of course you see the rainbow everywhere, and we are no less any different from the rainbow. We are refractions of the light. And when it hits, we splay. And life is many, many, many things. Diversity is life's signature. It's the universe's signature. And whatever survives makes new fractals in its image. That's evolution. I don't even need to explain it. It's just already in the fabric of existence. It doesn't need to be a deity or anything. This is just how it is. Oh wait, I forgot my... And because it required all of the things together to make life, and life completes the circle of existence, able to look back at itself and recognize itself, it completes the circle of interconnectedness. Everything exists together, and every action that we make sends out a ripple. Just me making this video is sending out a ripple of goodness. Anyway, that's pretty much existence. From nothingness to here. It was never nothingness, it was possibility. And in possibility and chance, they created the space for everything to be. They just wiggled their way in. If there was nothingness, possibility and chance wiggled and created space for us all, for all things. And in the space, the elements were already there. The walls are made of elements. In that tear, the elements just started pouring out of it. If they were all solidified, packed into the blackness, the black cube, let's say how it started like, and then possibility and chance, they just wiggle their way in, tear it open, it just starts pouring debris, and the debris is elements. The elements. Time flows in, change occurs, the duality mashes things together, pattern emerges, chance and pattern create things. Things. All things and unthings. They just create it and uncreate it and create it again. Keep doing that. And light and shadow is how life is able to perceive the textures of reality, perceive itself at all. We see because of light. We are because of light. I think that pretty much covers it. And you guys don't need a god to explain that. And that's exactly what I'm offering everyone here, is just a framework of thought. You can put a god in there. You can absolutely do it. I personified possibility with my god. I made a god. And I just happened to personify possibility with her before I even realized that possibility was so special. Sarid is my god of possibility. And in impossibility is, when I personify it, name Sarid, possibility itself, because it is allowing, it falls under a lot of descriptions. So possibility is naturally positive. To allow things happening, it's a naturally positive and warm and open, innocent and graceful, because it allows missteps and allows forgiveness. Possibility allows everything. Possibility is loving. So when I talk about Sarid, she has all these wonderful qualities because possibility does. And let's try this switch thing. Looks pretty cool. I don't know what this is. I think this is like a one-handed controller or something. Oh, it's got... Oh. Oh, can you hear the spring sound? Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, you guys can put whatever story you want on there. And I honestly was going to gift Sarith to the world so that people could look up to possibility with a personality, not just, oh, it's possible, and I believe I'm inspired by possibility, and I am inspired by possibility, but maybe people need a little bit more. Maybe they need a personality behind it, someone to talk to, someone to follow and look up to, like I did. Sarith is born of passion, etiros. That's the word that I made Sarith out of, etiros. It's the Uzbek word for passion. I was just looking up all the world's languages, all the words for passion in all of the languages, and EHTIROS. What kind of word is spelled like that? It looks inherently backwards, is what I thought. I was like, what is this word? It looks backwards. And when you read it backwards, it's Sarith, or Sorith, however you want to say it. I kind of like it both ways. But Sarith is how I first pronounced it and how I fell in love with it. Sarith is born of passion. And guess what passion does? It makes things possible. Oh my gosh. It's almost like it was making itself. shooting for 30 minutes again because I like that length. Okay, that's enough of that one. Oh, let's do this one again because I really liked it. So this is, Legend of Zelda Coaster. I'm not sure which one this one is. I'm sure you guys recognize it though. It just says it's called Legend of Zelda. Yeah, so those are the roots of existence, and it explains everything, just with possibility. I don't have to get too deep into how the elements interact. They obviously have duality, polarity. They obviously have push and pull. Everyone knows these things. I don't even need to explain them. When I talk about the elements in my book, I'll talk about fire, because I keep it really simple. I'm pulling from traditions from all over the world and stuff, and so I'm trying to keep it within the realm that we have always known. So fire, air, earth, water, those simple 4 physical elements, but they account for all the types of elements, you know. It's just that those are the natures of them, and they still work to explain it all. So I'm just talking about those 4 physical elements, and then I also mentioned space as a sort of element because we always have spirit, soul, ether, I don't know, mind or something like that. The 5th element is always the space that grows inside of living creatures. So I do talk about this as well. Inside of living life, yes, instead of life, space grows inside of life in order to connect our inside with the outside. So the outer space and the inner space. And the inner space can hold whole worlds in it as well. The outer space holds the entire universe and worlds in it as well. Our inner space does the same thing. Just because we are thinking creatures of life, we humans and animals, as humans, we are even more thinking. We can interact with this space inside our minds a lot more freely than, say, plants, but plants are just as connected. They have space inside their minds. They have minds. They are life. So they have space inside of themselves in order to connect them to the outside, in order to hold feelings and thoughts and ideas and memory. Memory is a big part of awareness. Honestly, I can just go through my whole book because, like, you guys, my whole book, it's for everyone. It's not really, I'm collecting 1,000 wishes for goodness from strangers so that we can hear it in everyone's words, not just mine. I'm not trying to personally walk us to the gates or through the gates. I just want to show you that there are some gates, and I want to describe the gates and what's beyond the gates in a clear, understandable, and magical way. I want people to see just how magical the natural world is. You guys thought magic didn't exist, but it does. When you look at the ants walking around, you see the animals walking around doing their thing, and you look around and you see us doing our thing, humans. Life's magic is called life force, mana, ki, chi, There's another word that I can't remember. Life force. It's the flame inside of us. Flame inside of us that keeps us going, that wakes us up every day. Thing that burns with tension when the duality hits us in the wrong way. It inflames. It's what feels the friction. It's what gets drenched in sadness and gets smaller when we get sad, and gets bigger when we get angry, and gets brighter when we get joyful. That fire inside of us that keeps us going and moving and strong and fiery, our fiery passion and our desire. That fire inside of us, that flame, that flicker, that's magic. It's the first magic right there. Well, possibility would be the first magic, but for life itself, it's life force. Immortal, simmering, writhing, cannot be stopped, even when stone blocks our way. You see it in the grass as it grows through the cracks. It will break the stone just to grow through it. That's our power. That's our magic. And I want people to start feeling it. I make it easy for us all to understand. Even a child could read us. I make sure, because I want us all to be able to hear it. Every philosopher that's ever written a book and stuff, they make it either purposely cryptic, purposely academic, because academic became a competition. Who could sound smarter? Who cares? I don't care. I want us all to know. So I'm reading it all for you guys, and I'm translating it, and I'm putting it in one system for us all. I talk about our becomings. After life and interconnectedness, and life force, the flame of life force arrives, and nature arrives. Nature grows on this earth, on this rock, and nature just takes over and creates its own ecosystem. Doesn't need human thought. Not yet. It is harmony. It is ecosystem. It's all of it working in tandem. And then humanity comes in. Innocent. We are innocent at start. Not innocent as in not guilty, but innocent as in empty and open and unknowing and waiting to be filled. That's why kids can learn everything, because they're innocent. They don't know stuff. They're not bogged down by expectations and thoughts and things that they previously learned, and pains and fears and stuff. They're not thinking about any of that. They don't know nothing, okay? They don't know nothing. Sorry doesn't know nothing. Sorry was but a child. And we treasure our innocence so that we may always learn, be open enough to learn, and open enough to be kind. Innocence is our beginning. What takes our innocence, or at least begins to gnaw at it, the very next thing that we feel in our waking top moments is sensation. Sensation is the next name on the list. Life force. This is in the grove of experience. We just talked about the roots of existence. Now we're moving into the grove of experience. And let's try a different trigger. Oh, hang on. In the grove of experience, life force awakens. And nature grows from that flame of catalyst. From nature, we are born. We are born innocent. And what greets us is sensation. Sensation is the sounds and the feelings and it's our five senses ringing like a bell the moment we enter real life. We cry and we whine because we never felt something like this. And what's the next thing we learn after sensation? Pain. Pain is the very next thing we learn after sensation. The very next thing that starts gnawing away at our innocence. This is why we treasure our innocence, because there's so much that takes it away and diminishes it, makes it less innocent. The more you learn, the less innocent you become, but you can always treasure it and hold on to that level of openness. Hold on to just yourself, never lose yourself, but allow yourself to be open enough to still absorb new things. After pain, even amidst pain, we learn how to play. What is that funny twang that we're feeling? We don't know it's pain. We don't know what that is. We kind of like it. It kind of tells us that we're here. We're interested. We start playing. And in our play, we find joy. We're joyful because we play. And in our joy, we get too excited and we forget about pain. Maybe we think pain is fun. We don't know. In our joy, we become carefree and aloof and vulnerable. That's why people are so afraid to be happy, because it makes you vulnerable. You're all happy and stuff. You're like, yeah, I'm all complacent and stuff. I don't care what. Whoa! Something bad happens. In our joy, in our vulnerability of joy, fear creeps in. We're playing, we're laughing, we trip and fall in the mud. What happened? What? Everything was good. Everything was good. Everything was, and now it's not. What? I don't know what's happening. In the confusion of not knowing, fear creeps in. That's what fear is. It's not knowing. When you reach to the edge of your knowing, the edge of your comfort, fear arrives. And because we didn't know and we were just playing, we only ever found out about pain. We didn't understand that pain was trying to tell us something. We found fear. And fear made us understand. In fear, we are terrified. We are vulnerable. We are lost. We don't understand. We don't have any framework of reference anymore. And what do? We seek to trust. It's a terrifying reality that in fear, humans reach out to trust. And that has been used against us very often in our history. But it also is what keeps us alive. We're so terrified, we reach out for trust. And when we find something to trust, a big leaf, a big tree, right? A big tree trunk that keeps us safe, our parent creature that keeps us safe, we find safety. Safety is the next one on the list. After fear, we find safety. After fear, after trust. And in trust, we find safety. We're reaching the 40-minute mark. But I'm having fun talking about this. I just hope that you guys are too. And in our safety, in our trust, we're able to rest. We're able to rest and breathe and be comfortable in our safety. Oh, safetiness. We love safety. We could stay in safety forever and rest forever and ever. In our rest, we learn. All of our learning permeates us, and all the things that we just felt, sensation, pain, the innocence, the openness of innocence, the fear, after joy, after we've rested, we've been able to solidify instinct for ourselves. That's not really how it comes about, because instinct is sort of like inherent in our genealogy at this point. But if I were to put it in a layering and stuff, I would say that we'd have to learn sensation before we even start building instinct. And the very first creatures that had to do that must have had to build instinct. And in order to build instinct, you need to experience, be open enough to experience pain and fear, and rest, to let it sink in. Feel the sensations, to instill the memory of sensation. In our instinct, desire wakes up, our instinct to stay alive, the desire to feed, the desire to become closer with another, to survive, to have a trust, always have a source of trust, always have a source of safety, always have a source of lineage. I know our modern day is not always all about breeding anymore, but that was part of our main focus. I'm asexual as I am. That's not my thing. I don't do that. But it's part of it. Instinct wakes up in us the desire to feed and to be more than one. And desire brings more with it as well. To chase something more than practical. That's where we start getting all in our heads about it. Anyway, if our desires are not met, we rage, or we get sad. And sometimes we rage and then we get sad because we raged. Sometimes we're just sad. When our desire is met, we feel joy, which we already learned. We know how to play, and we always know how to find joy. And in our desire, in our rage, and in our sadness, and in our desire, we learn the scope of suffering. And suffering is something that wakes us up. When we suffer, when we become too low, we turn our minds elsewhere. And when you imagine, your mind wanders. And in those imaginings, awareness of ourselves comes to be. We witness ourselves suffering. Imagine imagination arisen from suffering breeds awareness of self, and in awareness of self brings empathy of another. We are aware of another as well, and we can see that another is just like us. And in that, all of our feeling and instincts and our connection to each other is pure enough that we can feel empathy. And in empathy, choice. We choose to help another, or we choose to help ourselves in our awareness and empathy. I suppose they're layered a little bit strangely, but it's just because they have to go somewhere. So like right next, they pretty much, some of the things that are layered, they kind of come in near simultaneously, and they're not. Awareness is technically building into choice, and we make the choice to express ourselves. Expression is very near towards the very end, and through our expression we're able to I might have this a little bit mixed up. In our choice, maybe it is, I think it is expression. We choose to express, make choices, and we express ourselves. And in our expression, we learn will, our will. When we learn how to express and we learn how we like to express, we learn our will, the shape of our will. It's a little bit more than choice. It's a little bit more evolved. You make the choice to express, make the choice to do things. But after you've expressed and you've exercised your ability to choose quite a bit, your will starts to come into shape. And will is even more. It's our will to survive, our grit. We fight and put our back into it to really push forward. And in our will, acceptance comes along. And acceptance is the peak of our experience. Peak of the hardships. You do all the hardships, you remain open, you feel all your pain, you feel your fear, you feel your feelings, you express into catharsis, and you accept what is. And in acceptance, we move into the house of thought. This is gonna be like a 1 hour episode. I might as well just continue and let you guys all know, because then we can talk about random stuff afterwards. I'm just having fun. Maybe we can try another trigger. Oh yeah, maybe this one. This is a good one. We haven't done any visuals, but it's like 50 minutes in, and you guys are probably knocked out by now. Let's just keep the house of thought afterwards, honestly, because like there's a lot to go over. There's so much to talk about, but honestly, I'm glad that you guys got the roots of existence here and the grove of experience, because those are, I really want us to just fall in love with our names. Like, I want us to stop being so afraid of anger and rage. I want us to feel the power of it. I want us to feel the power of sadness. I want us to feel the power of joy and to feel the power of suffering. Because guess what suffering does? It leads us to goodness. When we suffer, we want not to. And everyone in this world suffers. Everyone of life suffers. Yes, I'm wearing the same thing as yesterday because I took a shower yesterday and put them on and then immediately took them off before bed, and you know, I don't care. I'm just hanging around the house while I'm waiting for my job to come through. And I'm writing my book. For us all. It's not just my book. I'm writing it under the name of Sareed. Sareed, who is passion and possibility. I'm not using my name because it's not about me, it's about all of us. And I'm doing it for us so that we can love ourselves and know ourselves. We made all these words in our languages, every language across the world. I made sure that all of my notes and stuff always include everyone, because otherwise why would I say it if not everyone has said it? And make it too niche. I need to make sure that it's all of us. I don't know, I'm just making sound. I don't know. I actually have a keyboard here. I want us to be able to see reality clearer. I want us to be able to think about things clearer. I want us to stop mixing up truth and meaning. They are different. Meaning is what we make of it. We can make 1 billion meanings for something. There's only few truths. Truth is our center of gravity. And that's what I'm doing. I'm mapping our truths so that we can get back to them. We can stop moving the goalposts with meanings. Every time that you quote someone's book, you're quoting a meaning. Unless it is particularly resonant, people do land on truths, and that's how I found them. Not always what people said, but it's in between the lines of what they said. You can hear them dancing around it. They're just about there, but they're just not they're not landing on it. And so you can find truth that way too. But if you're gonna sit there and quote some sort of philosopher or quote the Bible as the one and only truth and stuff, it's just not possible. There is no one and only truth. There's just glimpses of it and hints at it. And we do our best. We're only creatures of life. Yes, we are the ones that are the perceivers of existence, but our perceiving is not perfect. That is for sure. Our perceiving is not perfect. And so, in order to believe one person's words over all else and then argue that point, and then maybe write your own book and move that point a little further in a way that you want it to be moved, well, that's how we lose our truths. I'm going to be doing my best to move us back towards the truth. And hopefully I get damn close. It's not about being right, it's just about getting close enough, being resonant enough, because I didn't think these things into their layers. I mean, I did because I had to think about it. But in order to think about it, the way that I was doing it was I was feeling it. I was feeling where chance and pattern belong, where creation and destruction belong. I was trying to feel them out. We have these words, and they have their own layerings. 55. I see. So I was just feeling them out. And you can do the same thing. I've layered it all out in a way that everything before it builds into the next, or is very nearly simultaneous. And hopefully we can see ourselves and each other more clearly, and even our universe, because I also want us to have that, because everyone's all caught up about let there be light, and then there was. Well, there's a natural order to things, natural sequence to the world and the universe, and there's no reason why we shouldn't reorient ourselves. Yeah. I think, that's pretty much, there's more to say, of course. But it's because I want us to feel closer with ourselves and others. I want us to remember our names. I want us to name our names because I want us all to be able to wake them up inside of us to life. When you name your parts, say, this is my rage. You can feel your rage inside of you. Your rage can wake up to life, gain its own personality, and in that personality, you can speak to it and hear it. And I know this sounds like crazy, like, oh, create more personalities for yourself, but you already have them inside of you. You don't break, you don't become not yourself anymore. We can hold more than ourselves. We are multitudes. So name your parts and talk to them. Talk to your rage, talk to your sadness, talk to your hope, talk to your courage, talk to your fear, talk to your creativity. These are words on the list. Talk to your meaning, talk to your truth. Try to figure out and interact with and make friends with the parts inside of you. When you do this, you'll become more whole and able to hold even more, because you'll have more of yourself to have the strength to hold it all. I think this was pretty good. I think I said things a little bit better than last night, and I'm gonna stop the video right now. I hope you guys all have a really good night. Thank you for watching.